And we move to the third presentation of the day with Mr. Michael Curran. Please do come. Mr. Michael Curran has been working on accessible software and in fact is the expert on accessible software for children with visual impairments and persons with visual impairments. And he not only works on the software but also has very good connections with the different kinds of platforms that are used to for accessibility, and in fact is also somebody who can tell us more about open source ways of making these technologies available. So with that, I hand over to Michael. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Start button.
Okay, you can. I have a Windows, a laptop up here, running the Windows operating system, quite standard. However, I have installed on it a piece of software called NVDA, which is a screen reading software which allows blind and vision impaired people to access the computer and use it independently to do many different tasks. I'm just going to very briefly show you, just to prove this, that
Run dialog type.
I'm just going to open a few files
Desk
here.
Michael Curran window.
And it's worth noting that I'm totally blind, so I cannot see the screen whatsoever.
Items NFB NV access. Item branding dev org space. Items view list. Asia Ali app demo NVDA.
So although I'm moving around here quite fast, it is actually reading and telling me exactly what I am doing on the screen here.
Quadratic
using NVDA.
Desktop NVD quadratic temperature chart dot.
Read, for instance,
temperature chart dot
Microsoft
31 Jan
Excel document.
Monthly.
As a blind person, I can see
month/year crop Jan A3.
I can see the months.
Feb A4.
Here.
Mar A
Cells.
APR A 26B6 24B7 22B8 19B9.
I can even edit them if I wish.
Edit item edit 1 9
and I know which
blank
character I'm on
9
and I can
1
edit like that.
sheet 1.
I can even
demo files window
Excel,
test doc temperature test document dot
write Word documents with Microsoft Word.
pane test document dot docs compatible. No revise heading level 1 revised paragraph property test document.
So it's telling me a lot of information. It's telling me that's a heading and it's called test document.
No last modified inserted 2/25/2016. Not inserted. Table of contents. Link overview 2. Formatting 2. Lists 2.
And I can read all the text here in the table of contents. I can do a myriad of other things in Microsoft Word. I can access tables, links, different types of formatting if I just ask for the formatting here.
Style TOC1 Calibri 11 PT light slate gray underlined align left.
It's told me it's underlined and the font and all that kind of stuff that I need to know. Of course, formatting is very important even as a totally blind person. If I'm making an academic paper or something, I need it to be formatted well. So I can access, as I say, read and write documents.
Demo files window.
In Microsoft Word.
Temperature test doc. Quadratic NVDA quadratic.
Goes without saying that I can access many different web browsers, including Mozilla Firefox and Internet Explorer. I don't have internet with me right now, so I can't really show you that, but the point is that I can go on pretty much any website. I can do my online banking and shopping, and it will read everything to me as I'm doing it, allowing me to be independent in my life. And of course, with this, obviously, I run a company, and I'm a father. I run a household and everything, and all because I have access to this technology, so that I can be independent.
Desktop.
So now I'm going to go into the main topic of my speech, but I just need to change a few things around. Okay, so we all know that education is critical and a fundamental human right, but millions of children around the world do not have access to formal education. For children who are blind or severely vision impaired, the barriers to information are even greater, regardless of whether formal education is available to their fully sighted peers. As a result, less than 10% of all blind people get an education worldwide. A major barrier is that literacy is a major component of education, but print material is not usable by blind children. While Braille was invented to solve just this problem, it's not readily available, and its significantly larger size can make it cumbersome, and it requires specialized, costly production. This is particularly problematic in developing countries and remote areas where the majority of out-of-school children reside. This can, sorry?
May I just clarify
Yes.
to the group that
Yes.
this is a speech, we are not projecting anything.
Yeah.
So don't worry, it's not that the system is not working. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, please go ahead.
That's okay. Yes, you can all be like me for a while. I wouldn't be able to see the presentation up on the screen, so I just listen. So yeah, enjoy. This can be solved with technology. There is a massive, rapidly growing body of information and services available electronically, and electronic information is easy to distribute. With the use of mainstream technology and screen reading software, most of this information can be accessed by a blind user without additional processes. Technology thus helps to break down the barriers imposed by disability, but unfortunately, traditional commercial screen reading programs can cost up to thousands of dollars, putting them out of reach for many people, including out-of-school children. NVDA, or NonVisual Desktop Access, is one solution to this problem. It's a free, open-source screen reader for Microsoft Windows. It reads the text on the computer screen using synthetic speech and can also convert the text into Braille via a device called a Braille display. It was created in 2006 as an alternative to existing commercial products. It's managed and primarily developed by NV Access, an Australian charity. NVDA can be downloaded for free by anyone by visiting nvaccess.org. NVDA is now a mature product used by over 70,000 people across more than 150 countries. At home, at school, at university, in the workplace, and even on the go. It's available in over 40 languages. It provides access to the web, email, word processing, chat, entertainment, and much more. It supports many of today's applications, including Microsoft Office programs, such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, web browsers such as Mozilla Firefox and Internet Explorer, and many other applications allowing you to socialize, chat, listen to music, read, and much more. Many optional add-ons are available as well, provided by an ever-growing community of developers for NVDA. NV Access is continuing to expand the horizons of access even further. Recently, we integrated support for reading mathematical content in both speech and Braille on the web and in Microsoft Office. But because simply reading mathematics is not sufficient to understand all but the simplest of math, users can also interactively explore math expressions. And currently we are also working on a project to provide access to diagrams using sound. Users can hear an audio representation of chosen graphs and other diagrams, as well as being able to interactively, audibly explore images using a touchscreen or mouse. As well as facilitating access to news, books, reference materials, and a plethora of other information, technology can serve blind students in many other ways. It enables blind users to produce content that anyone can read without additional transcription, as opposed to, say, them typing in Braille. Blind users are also able to utilize online communication and other online services, which opens the door for scalable, flexible distance education frameworks. But even beyond education, technology is also the key to future employment and independence, creating opportunities that were hitherto impossible. There are now many paying jobs that can be performed entirely electronically, and tasks that were difficult or impossible to perform independently in the past, such as shopping and banking, are now possible online for blind people. Furthermore, as the prevalence of technology in our everyday lives continues to grow rapidly, it's paramount that blind people are not left behind. NVDA's zero cost to users means they can use it on any Windows computer available to them. Resources can thus then be focused on acquiring mainstream computers that can be used by all, rather than expensive specialized products. The prevalence of Microsoft Windows means that there are many used computers that could be donated to those who need them, thus reducing the cost even further. Instead of charging users, our funding comes from donations, grants and contracts, and other products and services. In this free product model, funding pays for continued development. Any funding benefits people indefinitely, instead of only benefiting a limited number of users, as is the case when paying for individual licenses of a commercial product. Users can also stay on the leading edge with free quarterly updates, rather than being left behind due to the update costs of commercial products. This is particularly significant for government and NGO funding. If an organisation were to purchase a commercial screen reader for 1,000 people, only those 1,000 people can benefit, and only for a few years at most. If this $1 million, that's say $1,000 per screen reader per person for the 1,000. This $1 million, which is also 3 times our own annual expenditure at NV Access, so were instead to fund NVDA, this would vastly increase the speed and capacity of our development. The results would then be available to everyone indefinitely, even after the funding ended. And this organisation would even benefit from similar initiatives by others. As an example, the Taiwan Digital Talking Book Library and the Hong Kong Blind Union jointly funded a project to enable blind users to enter text in East Asian languages using NVDA. Now, anyone using these languages can benefit at no additional cost. All of this means it's more economical to fund NVDA for the kind of long-term scale deployment the world needs. This idea of global shared benefit is further enriched by open source. Being open source means that that NVDA's code is all freely available, and anyone can learn from or contribute to it. The knowledge and future of accessibility are not locked up in and bound to one company, which is usually the case with the existing commercial products. People, communities and organisations from right around the world can enhance NVDA, including features, fixes, translations, localization and more. We've received contributions to NVDA from over 150 people globally so far. In fact, all translations of the product has been contributed from outside of NV Access. When you contribute to NVDA, your work benefits everyone else, and in turn, you benefit from the work of others. As another example, there's an Indian NVDA team who have contributed translations, fixes, and fixes to issues concerning other Indian-specific needs, and also specific support for Microsoft Office. Much of the Indian work is sponsored by Sapient Global Markets, which is a great example of how the corporate world can contribute. Users have the power to make NVDA what it needs to be. For example, several years ago, features that hindered NVDA's uptake in education settings was its lack of support for reading Microsoft PowerPoint presentations. However, the Thailand Association of the Blind, TAB, with specific mention to Senator Montien Bonton, coordinated a funding drive to gather funds for NV Access to implement this feature in NVDA. Many blindness agencies across the globe, including the TAB itself, contributed to this fund. This is certainly a great example of how the blindness community was able to pull together and achieve something that they all wanted and needed, namely to be able to access PowerPoint presentations without the requirement of an expensive commercial screen reader. The majority of our contributors are blind or vision impaired, including the 2 lead developers. Being managed and developed for users by users helps to ensure that NVDA best serves those who use it. It's also important and empowering for the blindness community to play a significant part in shaping their own access to technology into the future. NVDA is already used by tens of thousands of people worldwide, but there's a great deal more work to be done to get it into the hands of even more, and to ensure they get the most out of it. Thanks to significant support from the Nippon Foundation in Japan, NV Access is currently creating official training material and a certification framework. This will ensure that users know how to use NVDA to its full potential, and also certifying trainers in NVDA provides blind people with more possibilities for employment, as certified blind trainers may wish to offer their own training services for a fee. We have also partnered with a company called iRead to offer paid technical support to NVDA users at a very low cost. Not only does this allow a way for users to have their support needs met, but as iRead itself also employs people with disabilities to provide its support services, this initiative is also ensuring employment for blind people within the Asia-Pacific region. We are working to establish a network of global partners to provide support and training for NVDA, both face-to-face and remote. In addition, NV Access provides corporate support and consulting contracts for NVDA implementers and third-party developers, as well as those implementing accessibility in their own products. As well as ensuring a solid ecosystem for NVDA and its users, these products and services serve as a source of revenue for us so that we can continue doing what we're doing. In fact, much of our funding is for services we provide, including our work with Adobe, Google, Microsoft and Yahoo. Users obviously need a computer to reap the benefits that technology can provide, so we also would like to work with partners who can provide computers to those who can otherwise not get them. And these would be preloaded with NVDA for out-of-the-box accessibility. Specifically looking at Southeast Asia, we are aware that NVDA is already being successfully used in Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia, just to name a few, but also specific translations for usage in Laos and Myanmar are currently in the stages of completion, and we're also seeking to work with people in Cambodia to also ensure access to computers for blind people in that country as well. NVDA plays a major part in eliminating the barriers to education faced by out-of-school children, enabling them to participate in education programs without the need for costly specialized products. In addition, organizations and communities have the power to enhance NVDA to meet their specific needs, such as adding new languages or features. Beyond NVDA though, we believe the fundamental principles of our work can be applied to efficiently and effectively solve many other problems in this space, ensuring the maximum possible benefit. Working together, we can help to ensure that the fundamental human right of education is available to millions of children around the world. You can find out more about NVDA and NV Access at nvaccess.org. Thank you very much.